Welcome to the next video in the series using the Tennessee LiDAR data in ArcGIS Pro. This video in particular is going to be using a LAS dataset, and we're going to be navigating in 3D and taking a few measurements. So I have ArcPro open here with the LAS dataset that we generated in the previous video. I'm going to double check the symbology. We've got symbolized by elevation, as well as the filter is set to all points. What I'm going to do is go to the catalog view, and if you don't know how to open that, you go to view and catalog view, and that'll open up a catalog pane. We're going to go to our folders, and I've created a connection to where my data is stored locally. So I'm going to open up my folders and basically find the LAS dataset that we generated in the previous video. I'm going to right click and add to new local scene. You can also accomplish this task by going to Insert, Local Scene, and then adding the LAS dataset into that scene. But what it's doing now is it's generating a 3D view of our 4 tiles that we have in our LAS dataset. This is processor and graphics intensive because we're looking at millions of points in 3D over 4 square miles. I am going to go ahead and turn off the world elevation terrain service as well as the 2D topographic base map. But now we're in the 3D environment and we can start symbolizing, viewing, looking at the point cloud in 3D. Now, as you can see, the symbology is a little bit large. You can change that if you go to the symbology tab here, change it to elevation classified, and turn down your symbology scale. But what we're trying to do here is just show you a little bit about how you can take some measurements sitting at your desk. So if you needed to measure how tall this bluff was, for example, in 3D, you could just navigate to it in a scene and then go to map, measure, and measure vertical. So I'm going to click here at the base of the bluff and just kind of pick a point on the top of where I think the ground is. Again, you can change your filters here to only show ground points, but we're showing all points at this point, at this time. And so at this location, it's roughly 70 feet, which is, again, very powerful that you can measure the height of objects sitting in your office. Um, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to create a profile view. So I'm going to zoom out, just go back to north here, and then we're going to click on the classification tab in the LAS dataset layer. And here is the create profile tool. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see, but it generates a swath, basically, a yellow box, and you can change that after you draw it. And what we're doing here is just taking kind of a cutout of the 3D point cloud, the scene, and just generating a profile view from that. That is a little bit easier to navigate in. So I'm going to go to Finish Profile down here, the green checkbox, and as you can see, now we have a cutout of the area that we were just looking at. You can actually see some of the 18-wheelers and cars that are driving on I-24 at whenever time this data was flown. But here it's a little bit easier to, again, take the measure tool and just figure out how tall an object is depending on your project in ArcPro. So I hope you find this useful. And again, you can change the filtering to change the different points, as was shown in the LAS dataset video. And this concludes the 3D navigation portion of the video series.